Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to our weekly of MIS class. Please let me know that you have my voice and my voice clear enough. First of all, please accept my apology for last week. It was a holiday and I could not attend the class. It was public holiday. So, uh, in case you find it that you need some replacement class, we will arrange a class later. So guys, can you hear me? Please let me know. Okay, great. So today's class is about foundation of business intelligence, database and information management. As we already talked about it this week, and the next week class will be more in IT. We talk about database uh, today, and next week we'll talk about uh, network. I try to speak louder. So, week 3, chapter 6. Uh, I already told you chapter 4 and chapter 5. It's not something very important that we need to discuss in the class. You can read those chapters by yourself. But chapter 6 is about database and information management. So, our objectives for today's class is describe how the problem of managing data resources in a traditional file environment are solved by database management system. Describe the capability and value of database management system. Apply important database design principles. Evaluate tools and technologies for accessing information from database to improve business performance and decision-making. Assess the role of information policy, data administration, and data quality assurance in the management of firms' data resources. Okay, organizing data in a traditional file environment. That session we talked about the systems and different systems in different departments that the companies use in their traditional environment, but nowadays they try to centralize all the systems. So database helps them in this issue to to encounter the challenges they have to better manage the data. So file organization concept in computer system, we have a hierarchy for organizing our data in database. The smallest part is a field. Field is a group of characters as a word or as a number. So it's a small part, and some related fields, group of fields make a record for us, and group of record of same type will make a file, and then database is a group of related files. Each record describes an entity. An entity has its own. Each entity has its own, attributes, and its attributes shows the characteristics of each entity. Entity can be a person, can be a place, thing on which we store information. So entity is something in our database that we don't talk about it. We store some information about this entity. Entity can have some attributes or quality. For example, attributes weight or grade belong to entity codes. The following slide, you will see some examples and you will find and can differentiate between entity and attribute. I'm speaking very loud now. I hope you can hear me clearly. Guys, is the voice clear enough now? I don't know, maybe I try to speak louder, and I hope you, Mr. Sahib, Mr. Muhammad, also can have better voice. So let's continue. So we have field, record, file, database. Here we can see a small part in each computer system is a bit, and then we have byte, and then by using some byte we can have a field. Field collect information for a field can be a word, can be a character, can be a number or something. Then we can have a record. For example, this one is a student database. You can have a record about each student. For example, they have student ID, course, date, grade. Each of these information is a one field, and all this information related to this student with ID 39044. So these fields together make a record, and in a file we can have different records of different students. You can see here. For example, this one is a file. Its name is course. We have record of some students. We may have so many files in our database. For example, course file, personal file, financial file, and the others. When we connect all these files together, we already build a database. So, problem with the traditional file environment. We use database because in a traditional environment we have some problems that managing and controlling the flow of information in our organization make this flow of information very difficult. For example, data redundancy and inconsistency is a very big problem. Data redundancy means presence of duplicate data in multiple files. And which result in data inconsistency, which is same attribute has different values. In a traditional environment, for example, you have finance file, and you have, for example, to use this slide, for example, let's say here we have personal information, and here we have financial information about each student. So if these two departments have their own systems, so you collect some information about the student here and the same information here in financial fund. For example, let's say their address, telephone number, or something. But we consider the example that the student address is changed. So a student goes to office and says, "This is my new address." Okay, they update the new address here. But here in financial system or department is a different department, the information is not updated. So you can that's result in redundancy, duplicate data in multiple files, and so this data is not consistent. We have different attributes for actually same attribute for different values. For example, address is a field in a student record but has different values in different departments. So it's a problem that database will solve it for us. The other problem is program data dependency. When changes uh, in program requires change the data accessed by program. Some programs and data are not compatible in different versions. You have different systems with different formatting. Each system has their own policy and their own formatting that make this information not compatible. You cannot use information in different departments. And also lack of flexibility, poor security, lack of data sharing and availability are some other uh, problems. The security is poor because you have different systems and information stored in different systems. It's not centralized that you can run some uh, security application, or maybe you can use some devices to be sure about the security. But in traditional environment, you have different systems which poor security. People can access to your data, to your sensitive information. So here we can see the traditional file processing. They have different departments: accounting and finance, human resource, sales and marketing, manufacturing. And each of these systems have some users who use some application, but these are derivative files. The files are not centralized, are not connected to each other. So managing this environment would be so difficult. So the database approach to data management. We had so many problems on managing our data. That's why we need database. Database is a collection of data organized to serve many applications by centralizing data and controlling redundant data. And what is data management system, or DBMS? DBMS, or database management system. Database in short, sometimes people call it DB. Database management system, DBMS. The DBMS actually is a software, the interface between application programs and physical data files, which separate logical and physical views of data. It's a connection between user and the system. You use this software to manage the data and information. You clean all the data, and this software will manage everything for you. So by using databases, we solve problems of traditional file environment. Like databases can control redundancy, eliminate inconsistency, and uncouple program and data, and also enables organization to centrally manage data and data security. You can see here is a database management system. We have our human resource database, all the information about our employees. In here, for each employee, we'll make a record and keep the information. Then our human resource database with multiple views. How we can have multiple views? By using a database management system. Database management system use this information in different systems. One is here, for example, benefit view, social security, or something. The other one is here when they want to issue the payroll or something. So the information, the data is centralized, and by using the software, which is DBMS, you can have this information in your different systems. So Capabilities of database management system. Data definition capability specifies the structure of database content used to create tables and define characteristics of fields. In following slides by some examples, you may get more information about these capabilities. We can have data dictionary. Data dictionary can be automated or manual file storing, definition of data elements, and their characteristics. In data dictionary, you gather and store the information about data. For example, you have a file. You can have right click and get a properties. In properties, you find some more information about this file, about this data. We call it data dictionary. This one also in some example in following slide you can find the information deeply. Data manipulation language. Data manipulation language used to add, change, delete, retrieve data from database. For example, structured query language or SQL. SQL have different versions. You may already familiar with SQL and you may already work with it. Microsoft Access is another language for building a database, or some other like Delphi, like Oracle, or some other database management system. And most of database management systems have their report generation capability. We call it crystal report. So they manage all the information for you and give you some reports. You can have different kind of reports. You run a query, and the query will show the result of query will show in some table, and you can print this table. Here is Microsoft Access Data Dictionary feature. So let me make it see, here is the data dictionary. You have some data here in your supplier file, and about each field you can have some more information here of the size and other items. So data dictionary helps you to keep information about your data. So most of DBMS have this capability. So here is an example of SQL query. SQL is it's a command-based language for developing database. For example, you have some command you need to type. You need to key in some command. For example, select what part from this one. This part shows it's the name of one of our files. Part number in table part or file part. Part name also from the same table. Supplier number from the supplier file, and supplier name from the supplier file again. From these two files. So we choose some fields. These are our fields. Actually, it's a query. We run a query to show us 4 fields from these 2 files, where it's a condition where supplier number equal to supplier number and part number 137 or part number 150. We want this query will show us the supplier who supply our company for part number 137 or part 150. See here it says, here are the SQL statements for a query to select suppliers for part 137 or 150. The same example here in Access. Access use the graphical view. Here we part and supplier file and with their fields, and see all the fields here. And then here we have some criteria, some conditions for our file. We want to see these four fields: part number, part name, supplier name is two from table part, and the other two from table supplier. So there is a tick here, and the criteria is 137 or 150. So access using graphical user interface, but the SQL is a command-based language for developing the database. So for developing the database, first of all, you need to design the database. Design, you need to have a conceptual design. You need to study all the different aspects of your company in different departments. They have different systems, how their system work, their relationship, everything. Everything should be clear. Then, based on the gathered information, you need to design your database. Conceptual design is abstract model from business perspective. Physical design show you how database is arranged on direct access storage devices. So, the design process identify relationship among data elements, redundant database elements, most efficient way to group data elements to meet business requirements, needs of application program. So you should gather all the different relationships in your organization, in your company, and then design your database. A method for design your database is entity relationship diagram, or ER diagram in short. So entity relationship diagram helps you to design your database, used by database designer. So based on the size of your database, you may have a designer, or may have a company to design your database, or you may have a group of designers to design different parts, and then get all these designs together, connect them together. So used by database designers to document the data model, illustrate the relationship between entities. You can have also distributing database, storing database in more than one place. It can be in two ways. This one is for a huge companies that have different offices in different cities or different countries or different regions. So they need to have distributed database. The data will collect in different places. It can be partitioned and can be replicated. In replicated central database, replicated in entirely at different location, but in partition, separate location, store different parts of database. Here is an example of entity relationship diagram. See, we have our entities: supplier, part, line item, order. These are our entities. Entity, we collect some information about entity. We show entities in rectangle, and then show our relationship. Relationship can be one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-many. For example, here is a one-to-many relationship. It means a supplier can provide us many parts, or supply us by many parts. But here again, it's one-to-many. One part can be used in different line items. Or many line items can be, belongs to an order. So order can have many line items. This diagram shows the relationship between the entities, order, line item, part, and supply that might be used to model the database. So the database model, all the relationships should be modeled like this, and then you give this design to some programmer, and they start do the programming, coding, everything, and then run the database for your company. So, using database to improve business performance and decision making. Now, we learn about database. What is database and how to design, how we develop. So, what about big companies, huge companies? These companies need a very large database, and they need some specific capabilities and some tools to manage the environment, to manage the data, and flow up the information to help them for their decision making, to improve their business overall performance. We hear large quantities of data from multiple systems. So we have some techniques for managing these large databases: data warehousing, data mining, and tools for accessing internal database through the web. Somehow we can say web mining. So what is data warehouse? Data warehouse is a big database which stores current and historical data from many core operational transaction systems. It's a database, but it's a big one, and not only save the current information, but also save the historical data, consolidate and standardize information for use across enterprise, but data cannot be altered. Data warehouse system will provide query, analysis, and reporting tools. An example for you to understand the meaning of data warehouse. There is a bank industry. For example, you have a bank account. You've been using this bank account since, for example, 10 years ago. But recently, you really don't need the information about your banking transaction, for example, 7 years ago, 8 years ago. You don't need this information. So, do the bank should keep all this information in current activities in their current systems? No, they store this information in data warehouse. The data is accessible by you and by them, but it cannot be altered, cannot be changed. For example, you need a report of your transaction for a period of 2 months in 6 years ago, for example. You go through online banking or no, you go to your bank and they run some query in the database and give a report on the data warehouse for you, for your transaction for last, for example, 6 years, for some transaction in 10 years ago. These are the information is not need to be in current system. Not only for bank, but also for you yourself. You don't need this information. Maybe for doing some checking or something, I don't know, for whatever reason, you need some information about your transaction. You can reach to the data warehouse, get the information. Data mart is a part of data warehouse. It's a subset of data warehouse, which summarize or highly focused portion of firm's data for use by a specific population of users. Typically focuses on single subject or line of business. In here, you can see the components of data warehouse. Here is our data sources. We can have internal data source or external data source. For example, operational data, customer data, manufacturing data, historical data, or some external data. So you extract and transfer all these data and store them in data warehouse. You can have also information dictionary. So, and then you, by running some tools, you can assess and analyze your data in data warehouse. You can run some queries and have some reports. You can use some tools like OLAP or like data mining. In the following slide, we talk about OLAP and data mining. So, the data warehouse extract current and historical data from multiple operational systems inside the organization. These data are combined with data from external sources and reorganized into a central database designed for management reporting and analysis. The information directly provides users with information about the data available in the warehouse. So, what is business intelligence? These days, you regularly heard about business intelligence. What is business intelligence? BI or business intelligence. Whenever we talk about data and managing data and using some tools for analyzing this data to help you have a better performance in your business, you actually using business intelligence. With some tools for consolidating, analyzing, and providing access to vast amounts of data to help users make better business decisions. Example: Harrah's entertainment analyzes customers to develop gambling profiles and identify most profitable customers. It's a company around a tools to develop the profitability, to check the profitability of each customer. Some tools for business intelligence we'll talk about in following slides: software for database query and reporting, online article processing or OLAP, or data mining. Guys, can you hear me? Is the voice clear enough? So it seems better now. Okay, very good. Let's continue. So here you can see business intelligence. A series of analytical tools work with data stored in database to find patterns and insights for helping managers and employees make better decisions to improve organizational performance. So you have your databases here, and you can have data warehouse and running some tools like OLAP, like data mining, or you can have query or report. These tools help you to find patterns in your business. Once you reach to this level and can find the patterns and insights in your organization, in your business, you are ready to business intelligence, which help you for decision making. These patterns help you to analyze your business environment much more better than before. So you reach to business intelligence. What is analytical, online article processing or OLAP? Support multi-dimensional data analysis, viewing data using multiple dimensions. Each aspect of information like product, pricing, cost, region, time, period is different dimension. For example, how many washers sold in East in June compared with other region. OLAP enables rapid online answers to ad hoc queries. Let's have this slide here. See, you have uh, different dimensions: product, region, projected, and actual. So you have projected plan for selling your product, which is not bulbs, washers, screws, and you may have actual data. So you want to compare the selling of these products in different regions: east, west, center. You can compare all this information. So OLAP helps you have, a multi-dimensional view of your environment, your business environment. So what is data mining? Data mining is a, more advanced tools in comparison with OLAP, more discovery driven than OLAP. And if Mr. Family of OLAP, I told you here in this slide, the online analytical processing. In short, called OLAP. These are tools. The tools for which run it in your database will help you have some analyzing the data and have some result which help you to make a decision. The other tool is data mining, which is more advanced in comparison with OLAP. And if you are interested in doing some research in this area, data mining is a very, updated research issue. Many people these days working in data mining in different fields and different industries. So I told you that data mining in comparison with OLAP is a very advanced one, and here in the slide you can see is more discovery driven than OLAP. What does it mean? Is more discovery driven? It means you can discover, you can find more advanced patterns. See, find hidden patterns. Help you to find hidden patterns in your database, in your information. Once you try to manage your information, this tool helps you to find hidden patterns. Okay. Is it clear, guys? So let's continue. So find hidden pattern relationship involves databases and infer rules to predict future behavior. Example, finding pattern in customer data for one-to-one marketing campaigns or to identify profitable customers. Type of information obtainable from data mining. We can categorize them in association, sequence, classification, clustering, and forecasting. If you bring a short example or some definition for each of these: association, sequence, classification, clustering, and forecasting. These are the type of information that you can obtain by using data mining tools. For example, association, are occurrences linked to single events. For example, a study of supermarket purchasing pattern might reveal that when corn chips are purchased, a cola drink is purchased 60% of the time. So this is an information, it's association. It shows the association, shows a link between, you know, uh, selling the corn chips and selling the drink. 60% of the times when people buy chips, they also buy a cola drink. So, but when there is a promotion, cola is purchased 85% of the time. So this information helps the manager to make a decision, to make a wise decision for having some promotion or something. This information helps managers make better decisions because they have learned the profitability of promotion. So this one for association. But what is sequence? Sequence is events are linked over time. Let's say, for example, if a house is purchased, a new refrigerator, a new TV, or a new sofa, or something will be purchased within, let's say, 1 month. Means, let's say, again, 65% of the time. And also, an oven, for example, will be bought within 1 month of the or maybe 2 months of the home purchase in 45% of the time. So, you know, in developed countries or in some developing countries, when you go to market, so there is a huge, you know, hypermarket. So they issue some card, membership card, and get your information and give you a card, and by any purchase you will collect some points, and by using this point you can have some gift or something. So when you purchase something and you use your card, and all the information sent to your account, sent to your record. So analyzing this information, the company, that hyperstore, that hypermarket, will find some pattern of, you know, customers. What items they're buying, in what month, in what season, different products. So they gather all the information. So by gathering this information and running data mining, all our other tools, they find some information, they find some pattern, and based on that pattern, they can have some decision. So which helps them to, you know, perform better in the you know, business industry. The other item is classification, which recognizes a pattern and describes a group to which an item belongs to by examining existing items that have been classified and by interpreting a set of rules. For example, business such as credit card or telephone company, we are worried about the loss of steady customer. Classification helps discover the characteristics of customers who are likely to leave and can provide a model to help the manager predict who those customers are, so that the manager can devise special campaign to retain such customers. So this classification helps you to classify your customer in different groups. And for example, in this example, you find it that some of them gonna leave your company. So you run a campaign or something, or do some promotion to persuade them to help the manager to retain this customer. The other item is clustering. Clustering works in a manner similar to classification when no group have yet been defined. Data miner can discover different groupings within data, such as finding affinity groups for bank cards, or participating or partitioning a database into a group of customers based on demographic and type of personal investment. It's almost same as classification. And the other item is forecasting. Forecasting uses prediction in different ways. It uses a series of existing values to forecast what other values will be. For example, forecasting might find pattern in data to help managers estimate the future value of continuous variables such as sales figure or something. So by gathering this information, by analyzing this information, these tools help you to have some forecasting. So after business intelligence, we're going to talk about web mining. Web mining is discovery and analysis of useful pattern and information for World Wide Web or WWW. Example, to understand customer behavior, evaluate effectiveness of website, and different techniques. This one also related in such a way is the tools for business intelligence, so the online one. And it has its own techniques. For example, web content mining, web structure mining, web usage mining. In web content mining, knowledge extracted from content of web pages. In web structure mining, links to and from web pages. In web usage mining, user interaction data reported by web servers. And database and the web. Many companies use web to make some internal database available to customers or patrons. You may already use this database and then integration. For example, when you use internet banking, I don't know, guys, in Afghanistan, you have internet banking these days or not? If there is a experience, I would like you to share it with me and other students in the class. You may have, by using your laptop, your tablet, or mobile, or anything, you connect to the web, and through this connection, so it can be in two ways. You go to internet connection, or you can go to some mobile application or something. Connect to your bank account and do some changes. For example, transfer money to some other account, or get a query, or get a report of your account. So what does it mean? It means by using web, you reach to the bank database. See here, many companies use web to make some internal database available to customers or partners. Typical configuration includes web server, application server, database server. So we're not going to talk about this technical issue. Advantages of using web for database access: ease of use of browser software, web interface requires few or no database, inexpensive to add web interface to system. See here the example. You are here a client. By using the browser, connect to the internet and connect to your database, to your bank database. You go through web server, application server, data server, and reach to your bank account. So now you do some, transaction or something. It means you change the database. So by using web, you can change your bank database. Linking internal database to the web. So we talked about database, what is database then? In a bigger environment, we talked about data warehouse. Then we talked about some tools. We talked about business intelligence, OLAP, data mining, web mining, some other tools to manage the data. All these techniques and tools is for being in the hand of manager. Middle manager and senior manager use this managed information, managed data to make the wise decisions, which help the organization to have better performance. Now we're going to talk about this managing data from the other point of view, which is data policy or data insurance. You need to be sure about the the data, about that accurate data is stored in database. So you need to establish some information policy. By using this information policy, uh, we can have some rules, some procedures, uh, some rules for sharing and managing similar data. So, for example, what employees are responsible for updating sensitive employee information? We can have data administration, firm function responsible for a specific policy and procedure to manage data. Data governance means policies and processes for managing availability, usability, integrity, and security of enterprise data, especially as it relates to government regulation. Database administration helps you to define, organize, implement, manipulate, and maintaining database and performed by database design and management tools. In sharing, and also you need to be sure about your data quality. See here, more than 25% of critical data in Fortune 1000 company databases are inaccurate or incomplete. Most data quality problems stem from faulty input. Therefore, new databases in place need to identify and correct faulty data, establish better routine for editing data once database in operation. So you also need to be sure about the quality of data. You can also have data quality audit. The big company audit the data and the quality of their data regularly, maybe twice a year or once a year. They audit their database, structure survey of the accuracy and level of completeness of the data in an information system, survey samples from data file or survey an end user for perception of quality. You also can, after finding all these problems or incompleteness or inaccuracy, you can have data cleansing offer to detect and correct data that are incorrect, incomplete, improperly formatted, or redundant. It also enforces consistency among different sets of data from separate information systems. So these are all about the database. Actually, this information was in general. Maybe you need to have some information if you want to have some information deeply about each issue that we talked about already. You may go to I refer you to your book or maybe some professional computer science book about database. Since we were not computer science students but business students, so we did not emphasis and deeply consider all the issues. We just want to know what is database, how it works, what is the technology, what is the tool, what is the difference between database and data warehouse, how you can use database, how this database and managing data help your firm, help your organization, help your enterprise. Today's manager needs to have knowledge about database and need to understand databases and how work with database. So maybe you don't need to be professional in designing or developing the database or working the database, but you need to understand it in general. So that's why we consider database management in this week. And next week also we talk about networking. Networking also is famous database. The managers don't need to deeply understand the networking, but they need to have general knowledge about the networking. So I hope you find this information helpful, and if there is any question, please do not hesitate to ask. The other item is about your blog address, and some of your friends send me their email me their blog address, and I reply to your email. If anyone in the class who already who didn't send me the blog address, please read for today or tomorrow, because you need to have some activity in blog until the I don't know 10 or 11 that I'm gonna mark your blog. So there is no more time. If some of you guys have not developed your blog yet, please do it today or tomorrow and send me your blog address. Thank you very much. You're welcome. If there is any question, case studies, guys, case study and business plan, you need to do it in your group. You should have been already started your case study. You need to discuss it in your group, be in touch with your friends. You have your group, and you need to contact each other, start analyzing, gathering information, and finally, you need to make a presentation. And for presentation, all the group members should be present and should present a part of things. Okay, is that clear, guys? Now the cases, business plan is same as case. You need to analyze it in your group, discuss about it, get the information, and then get all the information together, get together all the information, and need to develop a file, a presentation file, and present them in the last week. And also, you need to do an individual assignment. I already told you, and you have the outline file. The individual assignment, you can put on the topic already provided, and do some research and prepare an academic report or academic paper. So, thank you again for your attention and for being in the class, and I'm waiting for your questions. Guys, I already replied all the emails. There isn't any email, maybe only for tomorrow. Until yesterday, I replied all your emails. There is no unreplied email in my inbox. And group already built, and you need to follow that one, guys. Okay, thank you very much, guys. If there is any issue or question or something, please email me. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Goodbye.